Monday, March 25. Peace of a Weaned Child. Read Psalm 131. What does this psalm teach us about our relationship with God? Psalm 131, beginning at verse 1. Lord, my heart is not haughty, nor my eyes lofty, neither do I concern myself with great matters, nor with things too profound for me. Surely I have calmed and quieted my soul, like a weaned child with his mother. Like a weaned child is my soul within me. O Israel, hope in the Lord from this time forth and forever. God's people live in a world that afflicts the faithful, a world full of temptations and hardship for almost everyone. A refreshed conviction that he is a child of God and dependent on God for his life consoles the psalmist and brings him to confess that his pride has no value. The deceitfulness of pride is that it causes the proud to become self-centered and unable to look beyond themselves. The proud are thus blinded to the higher reality of God. In contrast, the righteous lift their eyes to God, as we read in Psalm 123, verses 1 and 2, Unto you I lift up my eyes, O you who dwell in the heavens. Behold, as the eyes of servants look to the hand of their masters, as the eyes of a maid to the hand of her mistress, so our eyes look to the Lord our God, until he has mercy on us. The acknowledgement of God's greatness makes them humble and free from self-seeking and vain ambition. The psalmist confesses that he does not seek great matters and things too high in Psalm 131, verse 1. These expressions describe God's works in the world that are beyond human comprehension. Modern science has shown us that even the simplest things can be incredibly complicated and far beyond our understanding, at least for now. In fact, there's a great irony. The more we learn about the physical world, the greater the mysteries that appear before us. Meanwhile, the metaphor in Psalm 131:2, like a weaned child with its mother, is a powerful image of one who finds calmness and who is quieted in the embrace of God. It points to the loving relationship a child has with its mother at various stages in that child's young life. Through weaning us from insubstantial ambitions and pride, God introduces us to the nourishment of solid food, which is to, as it says in John 4:34, do the will of him that sent me and to finish his work. We're also referred here to Hebrews chapter 5 and verses 12 to 14. For though by this time you ought to be teachers, you need someone to teach you again the first principles of the oracles of God, and you have come to need milk and not solid food. For everyone who partakes only of milk is unskilled in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. But solid food belongs to those who are of full age, that is, those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. The childlike trust depicted in Psalm 131 is mature faith that has been tried and tested by the hardships of life and has found God to be faithful and true to his word. The psalmist's attention at the end rests on the well-being of God's people. Ultimately, we are called to use our experience with God to strengthen his church. That is, from what we have learned personally of God's faithfulness and goodness, we can share with others who, for whatever reason, still struggle with their faith. Our witness about Christ can even be within the church itself, where many need to know him for themselves. And so to finish the day, Matthew 18 verse 3 reads, Assuredly I say to you, unless you are converted and become as little children, you will by no means enter the kingdom of heaven. What is Jesus saying to us here? What does this idea entail? This lesson was read by Dr. Percy Harrold for Christian Services for the Blind. Sponsored by the Sabbath School Department and distributed through Hope Channel Australia, this podcast is also redistributed by Hope Channel Germany, Christian Record Services for the Blind. It is also available on SoundCloud and through multiple podcast distributors, including Apple iTunes. And you can listen and watch at the same time on YouTube. Remember, God is always faithful.